If I walked into your kitchen right now, I probably wouldn't start by looking at the salt shaker. I'd look inside your refrigerator, not because I'm searching for one bad food, but because your refrigerator quietly tells the story of what your kidneys experience every single day. Here's something that surprises many people. Two refrigerators can contain roughly the same number of calories, similar amounts of protein, and even similar portions of carbohydrates, yet one can help create a calmer environment inside the body, while the other may quietly encourage ongoing inflammation meal after meal. The difference isn't always obvious. It isn't about one dangerous ingredient or one magical superfood. It's the overall pattern of what shows up on your plate day after day. That's why I believe inflammation deserves far more attention than it usually gets. Unlike pain, swelling, or a fever, low-grade inflammation rarely announces itself. It doesn't wake you up in the middle of the night or demand your attention. Instead, it works quietly in the background, influencing your blood vessels, your heart, and ultimately the organs that rely on healthy circulation, including your kidneys. Many adults over 50 spend years trying to eliminate foods from their diet without realizing that adding the right foods can be just as powerful. Welcome back to our 7-day kidney meal plan. Today is day 5, and we're shifting our focus toward building meals that naturally support a calmer, more balanced internal environment. Yesterday, we learned how heart-friendly meals also benefit the kidneys because healthy blood flow supports healthy filtration. Today, we'll build on that foundation by choosing ingredients known for their wholesome, anti-inflammatory qualities without making your meals complicated or expensive. Stay with me until the end because I'll share several simple cooking habits that can make almost any meal more supportive of long-term kidney health, and one of them has nothing to do with buying special foods. If you're finding value in this series, I invite you to subscribe so you won't miss the final days. Each lesson connects to the next, helping you build habits that can last well beyond these 7 days. Now, before we prepare today's meals, let's first understand why reducing everyday inflammation may be one of the most overlooked ways to support both your heart and your kidneys. Why day 5 matters. Reaching day 5 means you've already begun changing the way you look at food. Over the past few days, we've talked about choosing better proteins, adding more fiber, reducing processed foods, and protecting the connection between your heart and your kidneys. Today, we're bringing all of those lessons together through one powerful idea: creating a calmer internal environment. As I've said throughout this series, the goal of these 7 days is not to cure chronic kidney disease or promise that your creatinine level will suddenly improve overnight. No honest meal plan can make that guarantee. Instead, what I want to help you build is something much more valuable: a sustainable way of eating that reduces your reliance on heavily processed foods, naturally lowers excess sodium, encourages higher quality protein choices, adds more whole foods and antioxidant-rich ingredients to your plate, and gives you a practical meal routine you can continue long after this series ends. When those habits become consistent, you're giving your entire body a better environment in which to function every single day. One comparison has always helped me explain inflammation in a simple way. Imagine a small fire burning inside a fireplace. When it's contained and carefully managed, it provides warmth and serves a useful purpose. But if that same fire is left burning unchecked for months or years, the heat gradually begins to damage everything around it. I often think about chronic inflammation in much the same way. It usually doesn't cause dramatic symptoms from one day to the next, yet over time, it can place extra stress on your blood vessels, your heart, and the kidneys that depend on healthy circulation to do their work efficiently. The goal isn't to eliminate every source of inflammation overnight. It's to stop adding unnecessary fuel to that slow-burning fire through the choices we make every day. That's exactly why today's 3 meals were designed to work together rather than stand alone. Each one combines lean protein, heart-healthy fats, colorful vegetables, antioxidant-rich foods, and minimally processed ingredients to create balanced nutrition from morning until evening. Instead of overwhelming your body with extremes, these meals provide steady energy while supporting healthy blood vessels and a calmer internal environment. Let's begin with a breakfast that proves even a quick morning meal can be packed with ingredients that support a calmer, healthier body. 1. Breakfast, a simple way to start calming inflammation. When people hear the words anti-inflammatory breakfast, they often imagine expensive ingredients or recipes that take half the morning to prepare. I've found that the opposite is usually true. Some of the most effective breakfasts are built from simple foods that work well together. The goal isn't to create a perfect meal, it's to create one that gives your body steady energy while avoiding the dramatic highs and lows that often come from highly processed breakfast foods. That's exactly what today's breakfast is designed to do. One of the first foods I look at in breakfast is bread, because not all breads are created equal. A whole grain English muffin offers more than just carbohydrates. It also provides fiber, which helps slow digestion and can support steadier energy throughout the morning. Instead of causing your body to rush through its fuel all at once, whole grains release energy more gradually, helping you stay satisfied longer. I like to compare whole grains to large logs burning in a campfire. Thick logs burn slowly, steadily, and provide warmth over a long period of time. Small pieces of paper or dry twigs create a quick burst of flame, but they disappear almost immediately. Many highly refined breakfast breads behave much like those dry twigs, giving you fast energy that fades just as quickly. Whole grains, on the other hand, provide a slower, more consistent source of fuel. Another reason I recommend choosing a whole grain English muffin is that many varieties are naturally lower in sodium than heavily processed breakfast sandwiches or packaged biscuits. That's why reading the nutrition facts label becomes an important habit. I always encourage looking beyond the marketing claims on the front of the package. Instead, check the ingredient list to make sure whole grain appears near the top, and compare sodium amounts between brands. Sometimes two products sitting side by side on the same shelf can be surprisingly different. Many people think almond butter is simply something to make toast taste better, but it contributes much more than flavor. Almond butter provides heart-healthy monounsaturated fats along with vitamin E, an antioxidant that helps protect your body's cells from oxidative stress. Those healthy fats also make breakfast more satisfying by slowing digestion and helping you stay full for a longer period of time. One important detail I always mention is choosing natural almond butter whenever possible. Many flavored nut spreads contain added sugar, extra oils, or unnecessary ingredients that change the nutritional balance. This breakfast isn't about covering your bread with a thick layer of sweet spread. It's about adding just enough healthy fat to create a balanced meal. Even compared with some sweetened peanut butter products, natural almond butter is often a cleaner choice because it allows the nuts themselves to remain the star. Fresh strawberries bring much more to this breakfast than a naturally sweet flavor. Their bright red color comes from plant compounds called polyphenols, while they're also an excellent source of vitamin C. Together, these nutrients help your body defend itself against oxidative stress, a natural process that occurs as cells produce energy every day. As we get older, managing oxidative stress becomes increasingly important because it can gradually influence the health of blood vessels and other tissues throughout the body. I often tell people to think of antioxidants as part of your body's everyday maintenance team. Just as you wouldn't ignore small amounts of dust building up inside your home year after year, your body constantly works to manage the normal wear and tear that occurs over time. Eating colorful fruits like strawberries helps provide some of the nutrients your body uses as part of that ongoing process. No single fruit performs miracles, but consistently including antioxidant-rich foods is one piece of a healthy eating pattern. What makes this breakfast effective isn't any one ingredient, it's the way the ingredients complement one another. The healthy fats from the almond butter help support healthy blood vessels, while the antioxidants from the strawberries contribute to your body's natural defenses against oxidative stress. The fiber from the whole grain English muffin helps provide more stable energy instead of a rapid spike followed by a crash. Together, these foods create a balanced breakfast that nourishes your body from multiple directions rather than relying on one superfood. That's the pattern I always encourage because your kidneys, heart, and blood vessels all work as part of the same interconnected system. Preparing this breakfast takes only a few minutes. Start by lightly toasting one whole grain English muffin until it's warm and slightly crisp. Spread 1 tablespoon of natural almond butter evenly over both halves without applying it too thickly. Wash and slice 4 to 5 fresh strawberries, then arrange them neatly on top, or enjoy them on the side. If you'd like a little extra flavor, finish with a light sprinkle of cinnamon. While cinnamon isn't a miracle ingredient, it adds warmth and sweetness without needing extra sugar, making the meal even more enjoyable. Keeping portions simple helps easy to repeat every week. 1 whole grain English muffin, 1 tablespoon of natural almond butter, and 4 to 5 fresh strawberries create a satisfying balance of carbohydrates, healthy fats, and antioxidants without becoming overly heavy. Remember, the goal isn't to eat more healthy food, it's to build a meal where every ingredient has a purpose. Lunch introduces one of the world's healthiest eating patterns and shows how simple ingredients can work together to calm inflammation naturally. 2. Lunch, a simple eating pattern that helps calm inflammation. One of the questions I hear most often is, if there were one eating style that has consistently stood the test of time, what would it be? My answer is usually the same: the Mediterranean eating pattern. Notice that I didn't call it a diet, because that's not what it is. Diets often come with strict rules, long lists of forbidden foods, and the feeling that you're constantly giving something up. The Mediterranean pattern is different. It's an approach to eating that emphasizes whole, minimally processed foods, colorful vegetables, healthy fats, legumes, lean proteins, and simple home cooking. Over the years, it has become one of the most widely studied eating patterns in nutrition research, not because it relies on one special ingredient, but because it encourages balance and consistency. That's exactly why today's lunch fits so naturally into our kidney-friendly meal plan. Rather than focusing on what you have to eliminate, it shows you how everyday foods can work together to support your body in a practical and enjoyable way. The protein at the center of today's salad is fresh roasted turkey breast. I want to emphasize the word fresh because many people immediately think of processed deli turkey when they hear the word turkey. Those products can often contain large amounts of sodium and preservatives that don't fit well with the goals we've been working toward this week. Fresh roasted turkey breast is a completely different choice. It provides high-quality lean protein with much less saturated fat than many processed or heavily marbled meats, helping you build a satisfying meal without adding unnecessary ingredients. I've found that choosing fresh protein instead of heavily processed options is one of the simplest upgrades anyone can make, and it's a habit that becomes easier every time you shop. Another ingredient that deserves far more attention is chickpeas. Many people think of them as just another bean, but I see them as one of nature's most balanced foods. Chickpeas provide plant-based protein along with fiber, creating a combination that helps keep you feeling satisfied long after lunch is over. I often compare them to slow-burning fuel. Imagine filling a fireplace with thick hardwood logs instead of thin paper. The hardwood burns steadily for hours, while the paper flares up quickly and disappears just as fast. Foods rich in fiber behave in a similar way by helping provide a steadier release of energy instead of leaving you searching for another snack shortly after eating. That's one reason chickpeas fit so beautifully into today's anti-inflammatory theme. They nourish your body gradually instead of overwhelming it all at once. No Mediterranean-inspired meal would feel complete without extra virgin olive oil. If there is one ingredient that truly ties this eating pattern together, it's olive oil. More than simply adding flavor, it provides heart-healthy monounsaturated fats that have become a hallmark of Mediterranean-style eating. I often remind people that healthy fats aren't something to fear, they're something to choose wisely and enjoy in appropriate portions. Instead of relying on bottled creamy dressings filled with added sodium and preservatives, a simple mixture of olive oil, fresh lemon juice, garlic, black pepper, and herbs creates a dressing that tastes fresh while allowing every ingredient in the salad to shine. Preparing this lunch is surprisingly simple. Begin by roasting or using freshly cooked turkey breast, then slice about 3 to 4 ounces into bite-sized pieces. Rinse 1/2 cup of canned low-sodium chickpeas thoroughly under cool water to remove excess sodium, or use chickpeas you've cooked from dried beans. Chop fresh vegetables such as cucumbers, tomatoes, bell peppers, and leafy greens, then combine everything in a large bowl. Finish the salad with a dressing made from 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, fresh lemon juice, minced garlic, black pepper, and your favorite herbs like parsley or oregano. Toss everything gently until the ingredients are evenly coated and serve immediately. If turkey isn't your favorite protein, don't worry. Grilled chicken breast makes an excellent substitute while keeping the meal just as balanced. If chickpeas aren't available or simply aren't your preference, white beans are another wonderful option that provides similar plant protein and fiber. The goal isn't to follow one exact recipe forever. It's to understand the principles behind it so you can confidently adapt your meals using wholesome ingredients you enjoy. If you're discovering new ideas through this series, I'd love to invite you to subscribe. Each day builds on the last, and together we're creating practical habits that can support your health long after these 7 days are finished. Dinner will introduce one of the lightest seafood meals in this series while showing how simple cooking can preserve both flavor and nutrition. 3. Dinner, a light meal that helps you end the day well. One idea I'd love to change is the belief that every kidney-friendly dinner has to feel restrictive or bland. In reality, some of the most satisfying evening meals are also the simplest. By the end of the day, your body doesn't necessarily need a meal that's overloaded with heavy sauces, oversized portions, or rich ingredients. Instead, I like to think of dinner as an opportunity to nourish your body without making it work harder than it needs to. That's exactly what today's meal is designed to do. It combines lean protein, gentle carbohydrates, fresh vegetables, and simple seasonings to create a dinner that feels light, satisfying, and naturally balanced. Shrimp is one of those foods that often surprises people. Some assume seafood automatically belongs on a list of foods to avoid, while others simply don't think about it as an everyday protein. Beside the shrimp is couscous, an ingredient that deserves far more credit than it often receives. Somewhere along the way, carbohydrates developed a reputation for being the enemy, but I believe that idea oversimplifies nutrition. Carbohydrates are not automatically good or bad. What matters is how they fit into the overall balance of your meal. Couscous provides an easy-to-digest source of energy that complements lean protein and vegetables beautifully. Rather than overwhelming your body with excess fat or oversized portions, it provides enough fuel to satisfy you while allowing the meal to remain light and comfortable. I often remind people that healthy eating isn't about fearing carbohydrates. It's about choosing sensible portions and pairing them with foods that create balance. Asparagus completes today's plate with much more than a splash of green color. This vegetable contributes fiber, folate, and a variety of antioxidant compounds that support overall wellness. One of the reasons I enjoy asparagus is that it brings freshness and texture without requiring complicated preparation. Every bite adds a pleasant crunch while helping create a more colorful, nutrient-rich meal. When these three foods come together, they create an evening meal that's satisfying, overly heavy. Preparing this dinner is refreshingly simple. Begin by bringing a pot of water to a gentle simmer and add a few slices of fresh lemon along with a sprig of parsley or thyme if you have them. Add 3 to 4 ounces of peeled shrimp and poach them for about 2 to 3 minutes, just until they turn pink and opaque. Overcooking shrimp can make them rubbery, so watch them carefully. While the shrimp are cooking, prepare 1/2 cup of couscous according to the package directions using water or low-sodium broth. Once it's fluffy, stir in a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, along with chopped fresh parsley and a squeeze of lemon juice. At the same time, steam 1 cup of fresh asparagus for about 4 to 5 minutes until it's tender but still slightly crisp. Arrange everything together on one plate and finish with black pepper, fresh herbs, and another light squeeze of lemon for brightness. One final tip can make this meal even more supportive of today's anti-inflammatory theme. Skip heavy cream sauces and buttery toppings that can quickly overpower the fresh ingredients you've chosen so carefully. Instead, let a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, chopped parsley, fresh dill, garlic, and lemon juice provide the flavor. These simple ingredients allow the natural taste of the shrimp and vegetables to stand out while keeping the meal fresh, light, and beautifully balanced. Before we end today's meals, let's add one final reminder that healthy eating isn't only about what you cook, it's also about the habits you build in your kitchen. Anti-inflammatory cooking tips and kitchen reminders. After spending more than 2 decades talking with adults who want to support their kidney health, I've become convinced of one simple truth. The biggest difference rarely comes from one special recipe. It comes from the small choices you repeat every day in your own kitchen. That's why I always encourage people to focus less on finding perfect foods and more on building cooking habits that naturally make every meal a little healthier. When those habits become automatic, eating well feels much less like following a plan and much more like living your everyday life. One habit I recommend is making your plate as colorful as possible. Every naturally colorful fruit and vegetable brings its own combination of vitamins, minerals, and plant compounds. Deep red strawberries, dark leafy greens, orange vegetables, purple berries, and bright green asparagus all contribute something different. You don't need every color at every meal, but the more variety you include throughout the week, the more diverse your nutrition becomes. I often tell people to think of color as a simple reminder that nature usually knows how to package nutrients beautifully. Another habit that has made a tremendous difference for many people is choosing fresh ingredients whenever possible. Fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, and freshly prepared proteins usually contain fewer added ingredients than heavily processed convenience foods. This doesn't mean every meal has to be cooked from scratch, but even preparing one more homemade meal each day can gradually reduce the amount of hidden sodium, preservatives, and unnecessary additives that quietly find their way into many packaged foods. Flavor is another area where small changes create big results. Before reaching for bottled sauces or seasoning packets, I encourage reaching for fresh herbs instead. Garlic, parsley, basil, rosemary, thyme, dill, oregano, black pepper, and fresh lemon juice can add layers of flavor without depending on excessive sodium. I've found that after a few weeks, many people begin to appreciate the natural taste of their food much more because it is no longer hidden beneath heavy sauces. Healthy fats also deserve a quick reminder. Foods like olive oil, avocado, nuts, and seeds are wonderful additions to a balanced eating pattern, but balance still matters. More isn't always better. A small drizzle of olive oil or a measured spoonful of nut butter often provides everything you need while allowing the rest of the meal to stay balanced. Healthy fats are partners to your meal, not the main event. Whenever you shop, take a few extra seconds to read the ingredient label instead of relying only on the words printed on the front of the package. I always look for products with shorter, simpler ingredient lists that contain foods I can easily recognize. If the ingredient list feels more like a chemistry lesson than a grocery list, I usually keep looking. This simple habit can help you make smarter choices without memorizing dozens of nutrition rules. Finally, don't let today's discussion about inflammation convince you that every carbohydrate should be avoided. Your body still needs carbohydrates for energy. The real goal is choosing smarter sources and enjoying them in reasonable portions. Whole grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes, and other minimally processed carbohydrates provide a very different nutritional experience than heavily refined products loaded with added sugars and sodium. Balance has always been the message of this series, and today is no exception. If there's one idea I'd love for you to remember from day 5, it's this: lean protein plus healthy fats, plus colorful produce, plus whole foods equals a calmer environment for your heart and kidneys. You don't have to make every meal perfect. You simply need to keep moving in the right direction, one plate at a time. If you're ready to keep building these healthy habits with me, leave a comment below and type, "Ready for day 6. I always enjoy seeing how many of you are continuing this journey together. Before we move on to tomorrow's meal plan, there's one final thought I'd like to leave with you. If you're ready to continue this journey with me, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss day 6 of our 7-day kidney meal plan. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Which meal from today's menu would you try first? Or which anti-inflammatory tip did you find most helpful? Thank you for spending part of your day with me, and I'll see you in day 6, where we'll continue discovering simple, practical changes that can make a meaningful difference for your kidney health, your heart, and your quality of life for years to come. As we finish day 5, I want to leave you with one thought that I hope stays with you long after this video ends. You don't need to spend your money searching for a miracle food or the latest superfood that's making headlines. Over the years, I've learned that lasting health is rarely built by one extraordinary ingredient. It's built by ordinary choices that are repeated consistently, one breakfast, one lunch, and one dinner at a time. Every time you choose fresh ingredients instead of heavily processed ones, every time you add another colorful vegetable to your plate, or every time you season your food with herbs instead of reaching for extra salt, you're making a decision that supports your body in a meaningful way. The most important lesson from today is that inflammation isn't controlled by one ingredient, one supplement, or one recipe. It's influenced by the overall pattern of how you eat. When your meals consistently include lean protein, healthy fats, colorful fruits and vegetables, and whole foods, you're creating a healthier internal environment where your heart, blood vessels, and kidneys can work together more efficiently. That's the pattern we're building throughout this series, and it's far more powerful than trying to chase quick fixes. Once you understand the principles, instead of simply memorizing recipes, preparing healthy meals becomes much easier. You begin making confident choices at the grocery store, in your kitchen, and even when eating away from home. Eventually, healthy eating no longer feels like a temporary diet. It becomes a lifestyle that fits naturally into your everyday routine, and one you can realistically maintain for years to come.
We hope this video give you something useful and interesting. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and leave a comment below.